Hello everybody, today I'll be teaching how to do substitution and elimination to solve a linear equation or a system. So how this works is you usually have two equations. As you can see, they have equal signs, and then they have two variables. So we see an x and y can be other variables such as a and b or r and s or t and u. It doesn't matter which variable it is, but all that's important is that there's a system of equations. So there's two different ways. First we have substitution, and then we have elimination. We'll be doing elimination here, and you can use whatever strategy you want. Both of them get the same answers, but sometimes one of them can be quicker than the other depending on how your equation is oriented. But as you practice more and more, you'll start to notice the patterns on which one's easier. So we're going to start with substitution. In substitution, it's literally substituting. So as you can see, we have in this first equation, the y is on one side of the equation all by itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug this into the y of the other equations. So we have 3x minus, and then we put this y, so in parentheses, negative 2x minus 1 parentheses, and then we continue the rest of this, so equals negative 14. Now we solve it just like a regular equation. We start by distributing this negative sign, so we have 3x, and then two negatives make a positive, so plus 2x. And again we have two negatives make a positive, plus 1 equals negative 14. And now we simplify like terms, so we have these two, which makes 5x plus 1 equals negative 14. We minus 1 on both sides, so we have 5x equals negative 15, and then divide 5 on both sides to get x equals negative 3. Now, even though you've gotten an answer, this is not your final answer, because we still have another variable up here that we have to solve for. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this first equation, we're going to write it as normal, so y equals negative 2, and stop at the x, because now that we know what the x is equal to, we're going to plug that into the x of the first equation, and then the rest. So we're going to simplify y equals 6 minus 1, simplify y equals 5. So now that we've done substitution, we have our two values. Now as you can see, this process is pretty lengthy, and it requires you to do two parts of the equation. So that's why a lot of people like to do elimination instead. But a key part is that you can also plug in values for x. It doesn't always have to be y. So for here we would do 2, then parentheses, we plug this in, negative 3y minus 3 parentheses, and we do the rest of the second equation, so we have plus y equals negative 1. Then distribute this 2, negative 6y, negative 6 plus y equals to negative 1. So we simplify, combine like terms, we have negative 5y minus 6 equals negative 1. We have going to plus 6 on both sides. We get negative 5y equals 5. Divide this 5, negative 5, and then we get y equals negative 1. Now, again, we have to go back to the original equations, and we're going to plug this new y value into our equation. So you can either do the first one or second one, it does not matter. But what we would do is we would go x equals -3 parentheses and -1 from here, and then -3, and then we have x equals 3 minus 3, x equals 0. Now, the way you would check this for substitution or elimination is you would just take these values and you would plug them back into the equation. So it would be like, for x, you would have 0 equals -3 parentheses -1 minus 3. That simplifies 3 minus 3 equals 0. Equals 0, which is correct. So you can do that for anything. Now we're going to do it for elimination. So elimination is a little bit different from substitution. So your equations can be oriented however the question gives you. Sometimes it will have this y value given to you. I can make another video of how to set up the equation for substitution, but you just put like one variable on one side. But sometimes it's like this. Now when it's like this, where you have coefficients for both of the variables, I usually like to do elimination because it's set up easier. But it doesn't matter, you can just orient the equation and manipulate it to make it however you want. So what you do in elimination is we basically want to get rid of one pair of variable, and by doing that, and to do this, we have to make this the opposite of this. So the way we do that is we're going to multiply the second equation by positive 2. So when we multiply it by positive 2, essentially we're making this 4x. And as you can see, -4x plus 4x is 0. So that would get rid of the variable, and left we have -7y. So we just combine it just like a normal equation, normal addition. And then 22 minus 8, we have 14. And then divide 7. Y equals -2. And as you can see, compared to substitution, we have a very shorter process of calculating. So now we can plug this y into the sentence. Equals 22. We get 22x plus 4 equals 22. 18 equals 2x. X equals 9. So as you can see, it's really quick. It's much faster. So that's how you do elimination. You just manipulate one side. You can choose this side or this side. If I were to do this side, let me just delete this. What I would do is, if I wanted to manipulate this variable, which is not that smart, but if you can, I would have to multiply both equations, because you can't, because it's not like a GCF. So multiply this by 2 and then this by 5, and then one of them has to be negative because they're both negative. So it would end up being -8x minus 10y equals -16. And then we have -2x plus 10y equals -22 times 5. We have that. So 110. Get rid of this variable, and then we have -18x equals -126. Which I believe we get the answer of, I don't know what that is, but get the same answer as the other one. I believe it's like, think it's 7. Yeah, it's 7. Okay. Anyways, that just shows that you can manipulate either variable. It does not matter. You'll still arrive at the same answer, and then you'll plug it back in as anyways. And then this is like the final type. This is pretty uncommon, but if this does happen to happen, you would just do the transitive property of equality. What you do is you just set the two values equal to each other, just like that. And now you see we have only one variable in the equation, and then we would just simplify. So we would move that 5x minus 7 equals 3. Move this over, we get 10 equals 5x, x equals 2. Then we plug that back in, get 2 equals negative 2x plus 3, minus this, negative 1 equals negative 2x, x equals 1/2. So this doesn't happen that often, but if it does, you can quickly just set them equal to each other, which is really simple. Or you can do other strategies. It does not matter, but those are the two ways to solve systems of linear equations by using substitution and elimination, and also transitive property. You can also refer to this guide for notes, but thank you for watching.